Hello, welcome back to VLSI Insights. I am Pranjal Sharma here to explain you about constraints in system Verilog and how we can set up it. So let us just walk through the steps that process, what all key steps are required to set up a constraint in system Verilog. So for that, we have to understand that what exactly constraints are. So constraints help us in controlling the random value which are generated in the test bench. They also ensure that their output comes in a meaningful way and the values are being satisfied according to the circuit. Why we use constraint and what is the requirement? What is the requirement of the constraints? They are used to test the coverage and also they just verify that what all invalid states are there, and we also focus that if we want some specific values to be passed in a circuit, so to check the output of the circuit in a desired way, we write constraint condition. Okay. Third part is it also helps us in automating stimulus generated in the test bench. There are two types of constraints which are available. First is hard constraints and second is soft constraints. So if we talk about with the hard constraints are those which are meant to satisfy some value. For example, we want while we are writing a system verification plan and we want that only even number of values should be generated. In that case, we will going to write a hard constraint that will going to fulfill the required parameter of the user the data has input. On contrary, soft constraints are those which do not give an impact on the output. They doesn't override the condition and they go with the verification plan or with the desired value only. How we can set up the hard constraint? Let us just see this thing. That to set up a hard constraint, we have to write a syntax constraint and then we have to follow some the syntax which are being followed. So for more clarification, I'll just use my tool to explain that how I can set up the hard constraints. Okay. So to set up a hard constraint, what we have to do, we have to write a clock, we have to write a class, and the class I am taking with the name of VLSI Insights. Okay. And then I will going to end class with this thing with my class, and then I'm going to create a test file. For creating a test file, I will going to use module and end module. Over there, I will going to create a handle of my class, and the handle of the name will be with the V. And in the initial and begin condition, what I will going to do, I'm going to create a memory for this, and then after I will going to randomize the value. So to randomize a value, I should be having some value inside the class. So let us just declare. So the keyword which I will going to use, that is randc, and the data type which I will going to use, that is a bit type which will going to have 4 bits. And we know this thing that in 4-bit presentation we can have the values which are sampled from 0 to 15. Then using a for loop, we will going to randomize our value, and I'm starting my for loop from 0 and it will going to end till 14, and it will going to verify the condition using I++. Then after that I have to do the randomization part. For randomization, what I will going to do, I'm going to take a handle name and I'm going to put a keyword randomize, and then with this parenthesis I'm going to close the statement. Then I have randomized as well, but I have to check the values, that what values are being randomized. So for that, I will going to use a system task variable, that is the display random value created, that is percentage d, d is for decimal, and v dot a is the variable. So this is how I will going to call. So let me just check that whether the program is successfully running or not. Okay, and in the log report I will also be able to observe if there is any error inside it. So I can see this thing, that the values which are created, that is 1, 15, 3, 0, 13, 7 and 9 and 5, right? So now let us just understand that how we can set up a constraint value inside it. So to set up a constraint value, so you have to focus on this thing. We will going to use a keyword constraint, okay, and I have to give a specific name to the constraint as well. So for instance, I'm using a name as data, and in the parenthesis, okay, in the curly braces, I have to set up a range. I want that my value should be greater than 2 and my value should be less than let us suppose 8, and then semicolon. So what I will going to see the values 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These 5 value I will going to see in my output result. So just check this part. Now the random values which are being created, that is 5, 3, 6, 7, 4, 3. Out of these 5 values, you will not able to see any other value which are being created. So I hope you have understood that how we can set up a constraint value, and how the constraint is limiting my testing scenarios in that. Okay. Now let us just move back to the explanation, that I have already explained you about the syntax, that how we can write it. So basically in this particular example, I have given a class, I have taken a class with the name of packet, and then I have used a random rand keyword. Okay, so I hope you are aware that what is the difference between rand and rand c keyword. So if, okay, in that case, then we're going to set up a constraint, and we're going to give a name to that as well. So here I have given adder underscore c, and then I was expecting that, okay, adder should be greater than 10 and adder should be less than 100. So the values which will going to randomize, it will going to randomize between 11 and 99. Okay, so because the value is less than 100. Now, there are some common operations which we use in the setting up of constraint, that is double equals to. That means if we are saying this thing, the adder should be equals to 32, so it will going to match for that particular value. Not equals to, that we will going to use in setting up for not equals to condition, that we want that only not equals to condition should be there, and there should be there are less than and greater than sign, which we have already studied in our explanation, that the value of a should be greater than 2 and less than 8. And then there are some more things that we will going to use, that is about the inside keyword and disk keyword. So in inside keyword, what we are doing, we are setting a value inside the value. So what is happening, the randomization will going to occur between 1 and 2 only. It will not going to cross the boundaries. And then similarly in the distribution keyword, we will going to use the distribution keywords specifically. If I show you this thing, that in distribution keyword we use colon and equals to distribute the value. So basically it's something related to the percentage, okay, and it is related to the proportion that we are going to use, that okay, out of 10 cases 5 should appear 3 times and 6 should appear 1 time. So this is the possible connection, or this is the possible condition we can also set up in constraint operations. Okay, now let us just move. Okay, so we have already discussed that we will going to use rand and rand c keyword. So rand keyword, it repeats the value, okay, and in rand c keyword it doesn't repeats the value unless and all possible sequence are being completed. Okay, now let us just understand about dependency handling. So what are dependency handling? Basically, in this part, we ensure that there should be a specific value which should be solved before the constraint are being set up. For example, we will going to use solve and before, so to guide our constraint that this particular value has to be solved on priority, and then after that you have to solve some different condition. Okay, and then if we have to solve, what are the controlling orders which we will going to use in setting up constraint. So for that setting up of constraint, we have specified a specific syntax. So what you can see this thing, when we have set it up a constraint, so we are asking our constraint that you have to solve A before B. That means we are guiding our constraint in a way that the value should not be repeated. Redundancy should not be there in the code. Okay. The real life example we can see this thing that we have a class transaction, and inside it we have taken two values, opcode and data. And the value of opcode is 3 down to 0, that means 4-bit, and the data value is of 8 bits. Okay, and then we are going to satisfy, we are going to write a constraint, and for that what we are using two different identities. First of all, we are using an inside operator where we are expecting that our opcode should appear between 1 and value 2. Okay, so this is like 4 take b 0001 and 4 take b 0010. Okay, and then we will going to summarize our condition using a if block. For that we are stating this, that if the opcode value is 1, the data should be less than 50, or else the data should be greater than 50. So this is how we can actually set up the constraint transitions by using some conditions, by using some hard constraint, by using some soft constraint as well. So I hope you are able to understand about constraints, that how we can use constraint, how we can set up the constraints, and how we can solve the problem if we are encountering in verifying any circuit. So if you have any specific question, you can comment down below in the comment section, and we'll try to respond to your question as soon as possible. Thank you. Do like this video and subscribe to my channel